In today's video, I am going to be recapping the events of Fight Club, a 1999 American film about an insomniac office worker and a devil-may-care soap maker who form an underground fight club that evolves into much more. Spoilers ahead, you have been warned. Now like the video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this video. The main protagonist narrates the film, and he is called the Narrator. The Narrator intends to show us how modern society has gone wrong in all the right ways. At the beginning of the film, we are introduced to recall coordinator Jack, played by Edward Norton. He works for a huge car company called Federated Motor Corporation. He depicts the average middle-class man. However, feeling stuck in a dead-end job where he gets chewed out daily, Jack spirals into a deep depression. This is worsened by the fact that he has extreme chronic insomnia, leading him to crawl through life in a lousy, half-asleep state of misery. He fills his sleepless nights by attending numerous support groups under false pretenses. Viewers witness the low point in the dull life of Jack as he cries uncontrollably in the curvy bosom of a large man, played by Meatloaf, at a testicular cancer survivor support group. These meetings offer relief since they allow him a safe space for crying and accepting the misery that is his everyday life. His insomnia improves. The relief is temporary though, as a woman named Marla Singer, played by Helena Bonham Carter, has shown up at the support groups. The narrator shares his feelings towards Marla with viewers saying, "If I had a tumor, I'd name it Marla." As she continues to attend the nightly meetings, his insomnia returns with a vengeance. Shortly after that, his boring life gets turned upside down. During a business trip flight, he meets soap salesman Tyler Durden, played by Brad Pitt. Jack arrives home only to find an explosion has dismantled his apartment. He calls Tyler and they meet at a bar. Tyler agrees to let Jack stay at his home on the provision that Jack hits him in the face. They end up having a brawl outside the bar, which Jack thoroughly enjoys. It is the ultimate mano-a-mano moment that makes Jack feel alive. Jack moves into Tyler's dilapidated house, and they return to the bar, where they end up fighting again in the parking lot. The commotion attracts a large crowd and leads to them establishing a fight club in the bar's basement. Marla and Tyler meet, and they start a sexual relationship. Jack doesn't seem to be happy about the new relationship, and he tells Tyler never to discuss his doings with Marla. Throughout the film, Tyler tries to make Jack hit rock bottom to set him free. Tyler involves Jack in making soap from women's fat, and they then use the glycerol formed during the soap making process to make explosives. As time passes, Fight Club grows in popularity, which eventually turns into Project Mayhem. Jack learns that Tyler is planning to blow up all significant credit card companies. All of this brings him into a state of panic. He desperately tries to stop Tyler's mission from succeeding. Tyler disappears temporarily from his life, and Jack attempts to shut down the project. He travels around the country while tracing Tyler's steps to find that fight clubs are up and running in every large city. One of the participants identifies Jack as Tyler Durden. In a state of confusion, he makes a phone call to Marla, who confirms his identity, and he realizes that Tyler is an alter ego of his split personality. Jack sees Tyler, who explains to him that he controls Jack's body while he is asleep. Jack faints, and when he wakes up, he realizes that Tyler has made some phone calls during his blackout. He then learns that Tyler is planning to blow up significant credit card companies in an effort to damage financial systems, leading to the start of an era that they refer to as financial equilibrium. Tyler shares a vision of a new world constructed not just on the ruins of the financial system, but also on civilization's actual ruins as we know it. All of this brings Jack into a state of panic. He desperately tries to stop Tyler's mission from succeeding. After a failed attempt to get help from the police, many of whom are, in fact, members of Project Mayhem, Jack attempts to demobilize the explosives in the basement of one of the credit card companies. After being knocked unconscious by Tyler, he comes around to find himself on the top floor of another building, where he is meant to witness the imminent doom. However, while being held by Tyler at gunpoint, Jack realizes that he holds the gun since he is sharing the same body as Tyler. As the film spirals towards the end, Tyler shares his plans to kill Marla, the reasoning being the fact that she stands in the way of Jack's freedom. It is the final straw for Jack, who would rather kill himself, destroying Tyler in the process. He fires the weapon into his mouth and survives because the bullet passes through his cheek. Tyler appears to have died as he collapses. The viewer witnesses an exit wound to the back of Tyler's head. Tyler no longer exists, but Jack still does. Not long after, a kidnapped Marla is brought to Jack by members of Project Mayhem, and they are left alone. Marla and Jack witness the destruction of the multiple buildings that contain credit records through the windows as the bombs start to detonate. If you erase the debt record, we all go back to zero, shows the final goal and reasoning behind Project Mayhem. The last window scene is so well done and effective that it makes the viewer question whether this is mission accomplished or just the beginning. The moment the viewer realizes that Tyler is the narrator's split personality shows how incredibly effective a plot twist can be when done correctly. The revelation hits hard since it was utterly unpredictable, and it explains why the film has such a significant cult following. The movie features a good performance by Edward Norton, who embodies the typical everyday man very well. However, the real star of the film is Brad Pitt. He captivates audiences from beginning to end, with many hardcore fans saying this was one of his best performances, if not the best. Truth be told, male and female viewers alike love Tyler. Why do we love him so much? Well, Tyler doesn't exist. He enlightens us to things that are wrong in a so-called right society. He is bold, fearless, and enigmatic next to a very bland and withered Jack. It is clear that Fight Club has a lot to say about the hazards of modern consumer society. It is done beautifully by Tyler Durden with ongoing lectures about how death can't be avoided and how ladder climbing is absolutely pointless. Advertising has us chasing cars and clothes, working jobs we hate so much, buying we don't need, he says at one point in the film. Although Tyler's pessimism is present throughout the movie, the message is not as apparent. Chuck Palahniuk was motivated to write the book Fight Club, which the film was based on after being involved in a brawl while camping. After asking other campers to turn their music down, a fight broke out. This inspired the author to write the book on which the film was based on. We can't argue that Fight Club isn't violent. However, the violence of the Fight Clubs is not to promote or praise animalistic fights, but for those who choose to participate to experience excitement and a thrill in a world where society has become numb. The fights, in fact, represent an effort to fight back against being wrapped up in society. The film makes viewers question the role of consumerist and fascist culture, as well as sexual politics. The messages the film is trying to convey might be missed by younger viewers who will enjoy it for the violent macho man battle film it appears to be. The narrator never really commits to that philosophy, even after he shoots himself to get rid of Tyler. Another point is that Fight Club unintentionally gives its anarchist cult leader an enormous corporate, financial, proudly American work ethic. That being that if you work hard, believe in yourself, and never sleep, you can achieve the unthinkable. This perfectly summarizes what this brilliant movie is all about. You might change your perspective on life only to realize that it's not necessarily better than it was before. The film has been a massive success and has received great reviews. Due to the messages it conveys, the film has become quite the cult classic, truly winning the fight against time. Thanks for watching, like the video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed and want to see more of these movie summaries.